Let's get into talk of that community shield. Kickoff is at 4 p.m. Ghana time. Should be lit. We'll be here. Live radio analysis, live radio commentary. We'll bring you thoughts on all the statistics, the numbers that matter to it. They say community shield doesn't mean anything. But Liverpool and Manchester City don't see it that way.
The club should start behaving himself.
What's going on?
He likes that thing.
What's going on?
Have you not heard the comments?
Yeah, if you win, yeah.
Oh, he's complaining about the timing of the game. They should have been played at a later date.
No, but you and I know these things are mind games.
They'll score him. He knows they'll score him. That's why he's talking like that.
These things are mind games.
But seriously, I'm worried though.
Why?
Darwin Nunez. Sorry, who knows?
Worried about what?
No, you see, gone are the days where players was allowed to give players some time to settle down and things like that. I think with the state of the Liverpool forward line, they need him to start firing as quickly as possible. Because Mane is gone, Jota is injured, Luis Diaz is not the most prolific. He's more of like a provider.
Yep.
So the goal scoring responsibility was on Darwin Nunez and Salah.
Yeah.
If Darwin Nunez is misfiring, it means everything is on Salah. And it's going to be extremely difficult for him. Because look, we know this season, there's no margin for error. Absolutely no margin for error. If you are there and you are resting players and you are drawing games, somebody is winning 6-0 and they're getting a 2-point advantage over you. Every single point counts. So he really needs to settle as quickly as possible. It's been very patchy. The first 2 games were not too good. Then he scored 4. But in the Salzburg game, I think the Salzburg game, for me personally, was a worst performance for him because he had 3 appearances already. That was the game.
The first 2 games didn't count because he was getting his feet wet.
That is Klopp. Then he got his feet wet, and then he played again, scored 4, and then the following game you go and face Salzburg, and he was all over the place. And you can tell he's not yet in sync with his teammates, but it needs to happen as quickly as possible, Because if you watch the Man City,
so is it that you think the player himself is not up to the quality Liverpool estimates?
No.
Or you think it is a mesh thing? You think it's a system?
When the transfer happened, look, I like him. He's a top quality striker, and I said it here. He's a top quality. He will score, but I'm saying it needs to be fast tracked. His integration.
No time for warming yourself up. Nothing.
There's not much time. He needs to quickly integrate himself into this team, because as for the goal scoring, he knows how to find the back of the net. He's a very good goal scorer. His movement is good. It's just a system thing, and I'm sure Klopp will figure it out as quickly as possible. And the player, also needs to put in some.
Yeah, because it's very weird when you go from playing with a guy who's like a false 9, all of a sudden to a target man.
Yes, number 9.
Can I ask Daniel a question?
Go ahead.
How many goals is the minimum you want to see from him in the league? I just want to get an idea of
I
where
have a minimum of what I want to see.
How many goals was Mane averaging?
I think Mane was doing let's say 15 on average.
Oh, that you've given is a bit high. On average, probably closer to 12-13.
I think for his first season. And because of the type of player he is,
will be okay?
I think it will be okay. Because of the type of player he is, the Liverpool system in itself will have to change a bit. And I still feel like Salah will be the main goal scorer for Liverpool. So for me, if 12-13, above 10 goals is enough for me for his first season.
And I want to make a point on that. I'm seeing a lot of people saying, if Núñez doesn't score 20 goals, he's a flop because they paid 100 million for him. And I want to check something. The number of times 2 players on the same team have scored 20 goals in Premier League history is 4. It's happened exactly 4 times.
Who are we talking about?
So this is Salah and Mane.
Okay.
Sturridge and Suarez.
Oh, Charlie.
I want to say Andy Cole and
Dwight York.
Andy Cole and Peter Beardsley.
Oh,
I think Newcastle. Oh. And there was one more I'm forgetting, but it's like 4.
Scored 20 goals.
20 goals each. So usually you might get someone in their 20s and someone in their teens. So and think about it, Salah has only scored less than 20 once. That was the injury season that Liverpool finished fourth. He scored 19. Apart from that, 30, 20-something, 20-something. So he's a regular 20 goal a season player.
Yeah.
He's not going to now not score 20 goals a season after signing this new contract. It's not going to happen. So if we are being honest, if Darwin Nunez scores 15 goals, he's probably done as well as he could have.
I think Darwin Nunez can score. My target for him is 15 goals. I think he's be able to score.
And honestly, I think if he scores 15 goals, he's probably done as well as he can do, because there's one ball. How many chances are you going to get if Salah is taking the majority of their chances? We have to also consider that we have to be fair to him. And I know people have this expectation because they paid 100 million, but the person he's replacing last season scored 16. So even if he scores, let's say 18 in your head, because they paid 100 million, you should score more. I don't know where this expectation is coming from.
Even the 100 million for his age, the 100 million is
was it 100 million? No, it wasn't 100 million.
It's 100 million. It depends on the currency you're talking about. When it's Man City,
100 million what?
100 million what? Exactly.
If you add
100 million sheep or cows.
If you add everything to pass 100 million euros and 100 million dollars, okay, like $110 million or something like that. But
right now, the euro and the dollar are equal right now.
Anyway, look, what I feel is that, look, even the price tag is not, they didn't buy him for 100 million or whatever for him to come and score 50 goals next season in particular. He's a young player. He's one for the future. We all know Liverpool are building a team and trying to rejig that front line from Firmino, Salah, Mane. Two of them, in fact, Firmino is still in the team, but he's not necessarily going to be starting every game. We saw that in the past 2 seasons. So they are shifting from that Salah, Mane, Firmino front three to something different. And that's what I'm saying. With the type of player that Darwin Nunez is, I think that the how they play in that front three will change a bit. It will most definitely change, because you don't expect Darwin Nunez to be doing what Firmino and Mane were doing when they were playing down the middle. He can't. I don't think he can do that. Or even if he can do that, he can't do that as well as those two were doing it. So Liverpool will have to figure out something. And I trust Klopp. I always say that 2 managers who in modern day football that I know for a fact when they buy a player, they know exactly how they are going to use him, and they know exactly what they are doing is Klopp and Pep. And that's what I'm saying. Even the Jack Grealish thing, once he's not left Man City, just know for sure
Jack Grealish will definitely play a major role this season.
He will come good.
I feel like Manchester City actually sold Sterling because of Jack Grealish.
Just to
create more room for him.
I think the two teams are regenerating themselves. They want to see what new dimensions they can present. You know what I will say about Darwin Nunez and Liverpool. It kind of it gives me a bit of the Chelsea Lukaku vibe. Not that he will fail, but a team that now has to learn a different thing, and a player who has to learn something different. So it will just be a very interesting learning process for the two teams. But I completely agree that now the margin or the window for learning is a little close. But I don't think it should let Liverpool be worried. Okay. I think they have a team that can function. I think they have a team that can do well. Right? It's just sad that Diogo Jota is injured now, because I think he would have borne a good part of the Mane burden, whilst allowing Darwin Nunez to grow and understand what it is that they want him to do. I think it's a fantastic acquisition. He will do his bit. It will take time, but I think once he understands what they want, and once he understands this league, we'll see lots and lots of goals.
Let me just ask a question though. I find it strange that Erling Haaland hasn't really scored much in pre-season.
How many games has he played?
But he's not gotten as much flack. How many has he played? 2? 3?
He's played 2. He's played 2. He scored 1.
Yeah.
It took 15 minutes to score against Bayern Munich. No, as for that boy, let's not talk about he will score. If he will score tomorrow. If you talk too much, that guy.
You know what I'm saying?
No, he's different.
We did this when somebody was coming to Chelsea. We did this.
Who?
Timo Werner. And people said it was an abomination. But
Timo Werner was coming at the time. Timo Werner was coming to Chelsea. His manager was Frank Lampard. Let's forget about it. The Timo Werner we saw under Tuchel.
His manager is Tuchel now.
Yes, but he's played much better under Tuchel than
he says he wants to leave.
Yeah, the fact that he wants to leave doesn't mean he wasn't a better player under Tuchel than
Will you take Werner at United?
Yes. Are you kidding me?
Over who?
With all these,
have you seen United's front line?
Wow.
Timo Werner is better than Rashford. Yes, it's a fact. Don't open your mouth. It is true. Timo Werner is a better player than Marcus Rashford.
I don't know about that. In terms of everything, I don't know about that. Honestly. And what has all his decision making done for him in 2 seasons?
No, but Ben, to be fair, you have to admit that a lot of his hard work has actually helped. A lot of his hard work has actually helped players like Kai Havertz and co find the goals they have found.
And let's be honest, Timo Werner has a tactical use that his pace and direct running stretches the defense. It makes space for others. Sometimes it's not everybody who is on the pitch who's a striker who's going to score.
We are correct on this.
That's the same thing that was happening with Bobby.
I'm even surprised. You are all a Liverpool fan of
Bobby Firmino.
If we do that, we are flipping the script.
Ben, I don't think
Werner coming to Chelsea.
Again, you see, if
we go back in the purest form.
If we go back to the premise that you were trying to build, if you compare Timo Werner
Yeah.
and Erling Haaland, clearly between the two, we know who is built to score goals.
No, but you see, guys, I'm not even trying
Werner
to be
at
controversial.
Leipzig had Yusuf Poulsen doing the hard work and
Good.
bullying
And
the
you see, I'm not
and
even
he
trying to
came
be-
and there was
I'm
no
not
one
even
doing
trying to
that.
be
Let's be
controversial
fair.
because
There was no one
I
doing
remember
that.
very much when Werner was making them. I said that this guy has been
yes,
he has
you
been a
made the
goal
point,
scoring
yes.
machine.
You made
But
the
see,
point.
it doesn't matter. You are coming to a new league. You are meeting new defenders. The defenders are very different from where you played. It's like nothing is the same.
Okay, look,
But then we have
okay,
seen
for me, the
strikers,
dynamics
you are
are
right.
different.
Hold on.
The
We have
dynamics
seen
are very
strikers
different.
make the transition from other leagues, and they've come in and they've survived. Luis Suarez made it.
No, that's true.
Would
But I'm
Van
saying that-
Nistelrooy,
Are we
Thierry
saying that?
Henry.
Are we saying that Erling Haaland is so good that we cannot question his ability to make
What
it?
we are saying is that first of all, you need to consider what the team he's walking into.
Okay.
This team is a creative machine. The chances will be there.
Okay.
He will have opportunities to score.
He will waste a few.
He will waste a few. All strikers waste a few. He's a very good finisher,
He
top
will
class
score.
finisher. He will score. He's playing under one of the best managers ever. He will score. Come on.
How many goals will be acceptable or unacceptable for Haaland to just so we are clear? How many?
Acceptable or unacceptable? 15 plus goals for me is guaranteed. He will score
Guaranteed,
15
okay.
plus goals.
I have to say something about Werner. I think it's credit to him that he came to be the main man. It's not worked out, and he's reinvented himself to help the team. I think we should also give him credit for that because you are right. He came expecting to be the guy who's scoring 20-25 goals a season. It's not worked out, but he's reinvented himself to make himself useful to the team, and trophies have come. So let's give Timo Werner his credit there.
No, I'm definitely a Timo Werner fan. I won't even lie to you. If Timo
You
Werner was
have him at
offered to
Liverpool.
Liverpool today, I'll take him. I won't even lie. I was just surprised by the fact that Daniel thinks he's better than all the United front line. I mean,
How is he not?
how
is he
has
not?
Rashford not outscored Timo
No,
Werner
you see,
in the last 2 years?
Rashford,
Okay,
he's a
Ben.
product of positive, powerful PR.
But let me ask you a
Does the
question.
PR score goals?
Ben, let me
Let's
ask
look
you
at
a
the
question.
actual-
Let me
the
ask you-
PR
hold on. Let me ask you a question. If the two players were the only two left on the market and Liverpool had to buy a player, who would Liverpool buy?
I can't answer this question. Let's move. Yeah,
That's not a
I'm
fair,
just
that's
saying
not
that,
a
see-
fair question
Hold on.
because there are two different.
No.
teams.
I'm saying no. You don't get it.
No, he says
The
Liverpool.
question I ask is a very straight.
It's a
I always ask
straightforward
this
question.
very straightforward
It's a straightforward
question. I'm
question.
saying that if I understand, we are not saying Marcus Rashford is the worst player in the world. No, but clearly where Marcus Rashford is and where in his mind he thinks he is, they are like worlds apart. And you can tell that for a player at his age, he hasn't properly applied himself. Because at this level, they are saying things that are basic. All players we call elite players all do very basic things, the things that come to them naturally. Kevin De Bruyne never gets into a situation and he's now thinking, hey, what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? Or he doesn't see that at this point, I'm not supposed to run. Let me pause and pass. Marcus Rashford, as soon as he sees the green turf in front of him, it is all pace. Let's run. No nuance, no style, no time to do different things. And I feel that's the bit Daniel Cranton talks about, the fact that at this elite level, you are supposed to know how to make a good decision. That when I stand here, it makes sense. When I move, it doesn't. When I run, it doesn't make sense. So let me slow it down sometimes and stop shooting from 50 meters because not all 50 meters. Yeah, that kind of thing. That's the point people have with Marcus Rashford. The fact that there are no nuances to his decision making. It's a lot of run, shoot, raw pace, and really none of that helps.
I feel like I want to defend Rashford here. I don't think there's been enough organization around him.
I've taken my headset off. I don't even want to do that.
No, I don't think.
What's organization?
I don't think there's been a lot of chaos around you, and it doesn't help a young player. You don't build good habits in chaos. It's a fact.
Chaos. Do you know that Marcus Rashford is part of the chaos at Manchester United?
Apparently, he's one of those untouchables whom you can't criticize. But let's talk about more new signings that we are likely to see in the community. So let's talk about Julian Alvarez. I don't think a lot has been said about him. So let me start off with you on that one. Who is this guy? I mean, for those who are listening to us for the first time, who haven't watched Manchester City play, what are you getting in a guy like Julian Alvarez?
So from what the reports say, this was a guy who was doing very well in Argentina. He's been playing for the national team actually. He has a few caps. I mean, he was very good for River Plate. He could play on the right, he could play through the middle. He had a good Copa Libertadores game. He scored 6 goals for River Plate. So there's some quality there. It's not like he's someone. And he is very good at dropping deep. So he's actually more in the Man City style than Haaland. If you look at them stylistically, you say Alvarez is their style fit, but Haaland is more of the star power, elite level fit. You know, it's an interesting one. So I think Alvarez is a good foil, and he's a good tactical option in the sense that
has he replaced Gabriel Jesus kind of?
Yes, he has that Gabriel Jesus vibe. Because
is he an upgrade?
That one I doubt. You know, I can't. It's making the jump from Argentina. And if you pay attention to South American football, you realize right now the Argentinian league is falling far behind the Brazilian league. There's a big gap, and the gap is growing. So Argentinian football is not in a good place. So making the step up is what I'm afraid of. I think he can be a good backup, but I don't think he was ready to make the step up as a starter. I think as of now, Jesus is still ahead. But whether that will be the same maybe in 2-3 years is what we have to be thinking about.
We're talking about Man City, and I just can't help, and I could be wrong, guys. But does any other person feel that Man City have a certain lightweight feel about them?
They do.
I don't think so.
You see, I think it's more perception, but it's also it's not something I haven't thought about. If I'm being honest with you, I feel like this whole rebuild they are on, with all these new additions and guys from last season, he's trying to build. Like we said, Kevin De Bruyne is literally the only person left from the players.
Also, rebuilding is done. So, I just feel that, and I could be wrong. Exactly. But when I think about Man City, I just can't shake off that feeling that says
no Aguero, no Sterling.
I feel that they are a little lightweight, and maybe.
Look, how do you look at this? First of all, ask yourself how important was Sterling to their season last season? Last season, you could clearly see that they were slowly phasing him out of the team.
I think he scored 50 goals or more all competitions.
That's
13
fine.
in the league.
That's fine.
That's a lot.
You look at how much impact Foden had on the team in terms of game time.
I always forget about him.
Foden is around. You look at the fact that the Grealish will have more of an impact this season. They've added Alvarez. They've added Erling Haaland. So they've lost 2 attackers.
And then they added a goalkeeper actually.
Yeah, and they've added a goalkeeper. So they lost a goalkeeper. They've replaced him. They've lost 2 attackers. They've replaced them. And Gabriel Jesus
they've replaced Fernandinho's old legs with Calvin Phillips.
So we keep forgetting about Calvin Phillips.
So they've done some good business. And I always say this thing. Look, Man City is a machine. Manchester City is a machine.
You mean it's plug and play?
Oh, come on. It's a machine. We are sitting here talking about how, and we are screaming at how much Grealish flopped last. They still won the league. They still won. And you see, you can't take the fact that the fact that winning the league, you can't tell me winning the league is not an achievement anymore for Manchester City. It is the Premier League. Once you feel Premier League is the best league in the world, and they consistently keep on winning it, whether they sign players or not,
and
then they are doing something.
You can't just say they won the league. The amount of points they got.
Yes.
If you get in the 90s, until Man City came to the league,
nobody was really doing 90
points.
It was an anomaly.
Was an anomaly. What? Yeah.
I think Chelsea did
95. Chelsea did 95.
Arsenal did 90. Man United did 93.
So if you got 90, and even when they were playing 24 teams, 48, 46 games, teams weren't getting 90.
Yeah.
It wasn't happening then. So getting 90 is an achievement, and Pep has done it 3-4 times. So we have, even though he is making it look easy. It's not that it's easy. He's making it look easy. There's a big difference.
I don't know if anybody has anything else. Let's do predictions. Predictions. Who wins the game?
I don't like predictions for a game like this. First of all, you can make 6 subs.
I need to see the lineup first.
They might play the backup keeper.
Manchester City and Liverpool.
For me, based on what we've seen preseason, I think Man City will win.
I
think Liverpool are still figuring it something.
Honestly, if based on, because if you're expecting Darwin Nunez to have a big role, and like Daniel has said, he's still not there. It's not the game. It's not Man City is going to make his name. No Man City is coming to show us that he's a striker. It will take.
Manchester City is not the Matrai Marquette team.
Exactly.
Well, I go with Man City. Yeah, not necessarily because of their quality. I think Liverpool walk into this game with feeling the absence of key players, and I think Alisson's absence. A lot of we don't talk about it. But Alisson is a very, very important part of what Liverpool do.
Kelleher is also not around.
So it's Adrian who goes in post, and he doesn't really give off a lot of.
I didn't know Adrian was in post. Like, the Man City 3-0.